In this video, we're going to learn how to create pagination using Bootstrap. First of all, what is pagination? Pagination is the process of dividing content into a limited number of pages. Many web applications, they will use pagination. For example, if you use a search engine to look up a word, then at the bottom of the page, usually we'll see something like this. This is an example of pagination. So you can see here links to a limited number of pages corresponding to search results. And also you can navigate from one page to another using the next and previous links. Also, if you look up an item on eBay, at the bottom of the page, you will see a pagination example as well. And similarly, you can see the same thing in Amazon. Okay, so in our session, we create something like this. So a pagination example. And then we're going to create a pager, which is a little bit different from paginations. So rather than having a complex way showing all these links, we'll only show a couple of links, one for the next page and one for the previous page. Okay, so let's start by creating this pagination example. So first of all, we're going to need the nav tag. Okay, and then inside the nav, we're going to create a list. Okay, and we're going to have list items, each one corresponding to one of these links. Okay, so let's start with this one. So we're going to place a link inside the list item. Okay, let's have an href for the link. Okay, and inside the link, we're going to have a span where we're going to place an HTML entity showing these couple of arrows pointing to the left. Okay. But before we do that, let's do that first. So let's use the entity. So we're going to go for okay, it's this one. Okay, and now we need to give the nav the list a class pagination. Okay. Okay. We can add a few more attributes to the link and also to the span. So first one is going to be the area label. This is going to be used for assistive technologies. Okay, and we're going to give it some text previous. And also for the span, we're going to use an attribute area hidden that we can set to true. Okay, and this means that we're going to hide the span for in screen readers. Okay, so in screen readers, we're going to see previous rather than seeing the span with arrows. Okay, so let's move to the next list item, which will show the first link. So we're going to need to place a link inside the list item. Let's have an href. Okay, let's call it 1. And also, we want this first link to be active. So we're just going to add a class active to the list item. Okay, let's make the items a little bit bigger. So we can add another class to the list to make it large. So it's going to be pagination large. And now you can see it looks like this one. Okay. So let's add another link, another list item, and let's get rid of the active class for now. It's going to be 2. Okay, let's duplicate this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. And now let's move to the final list item. We can just copy the first one. It's going to be similar. All we're going to change is previous to next. And we'll change the HTML entity. Okay. Raco. Okay. And that's it. Okay. We can make, we can disable a specific list item, including the previous and next links. So let's disable the previous link. All we're going to need to do is add a class to the list item itself, disabled. Okay, and we can try same thing with any other list item. This one, for example. You can see. Okay. All right. Now let's move to pages. So we're going to create a pager like this one. So for pages, again, we'll need a nav tag. Okay. And we'll place a list inside the nav tag. Okay, and okay, our list, it'll need a class pager. Now let's have a couple of list items, one for previous and one for next. Okay, so let's have a link with an href. So this is going to be previous. And let's have another one. For next. Okay, so you can see how they are displayed in the middle of the page horizontally. Okay, sometimes you may want them to be displayed aligned to the right and left, so we can do that easily by adding a class to each of them. So for the previous, we're going to have a class previous. Okay, and for next, we're going to have a class next. All right, and we can disable one of these. So let's disable previous by adding another class disabled.